Well, the answer is yes, it is. And the reason for that is something called R.A.S. and honest signals. R.A.S. Okay, R.A.S., how many people have heard of this? How many people know what it is? Cool, some people. All right, so R.A.S. stands for Reticular Activation System. Okay, Reticular Activation System. Basically, this is the mechanism that decides what you pay attention to. Decides what is of value to you. Basically, what is of value to you or what is threat to you, because that's what you pay attention to. Pay attention to things that are valuable or threatening. So for example, if someone came in here with a gun, would you guys pay attention to him? Yes, why? Because he's a threat to you, okay? Because he could kill you, you'd pay attention. If someone came in here and offered $1 million prize for someone who could answer a question, would you pay attention to his question? Yes, you would. Why? Because that's of value to you, okay? So what you pay attention to is what you see as value or threat. And the reason for this is we can't pay attention to everything. We cannot. We'll do a quick little experiment with everybody in the room. Everybody take a minute. Actually, take a minute and close your eyes. Okay? What I want you to do is, it'll be a little hard as I'm talking for some of it, but see what you can do. As you're sitting there, I want you to feel the feeling of your feet against the floor, right? Feel your clothes against your body. Listen to the background noise, the little slight humming of the room. Inhale through your nostrils and smell like what the room smells like, or even what the inside of your nostrils smell like. Notice what the back of your eyelids look like. All right, cool. Now everybody open your eyes. So there's a bunch of different things that you just noticed, right? You just noticed all these little things that you probably didn't notice before. As you were just sitting listening to me, you weren't noticing the way your feet felt against the floor, the way the room sounded, how cold or warm it was. You weren't noticing these things, right? Why? Because they weren't relevant. If you had to pay attention to every bit of stimulus that comes your way throughout the day, you couldn't possibly process all of it. There's just too much information, okay? And so what we do as human beings is we sort of use a shortcut. That shortcut is our R.A.S. We focus on things that historically have proven important, either because they're value or because they are threat, okay? So in game, what we're essentially doing is we're focusing on the female's R.A.S., focusing on her R.A.S. and the specific things that indicate a guy who's in that 1%, right? That indicate the alpha male. And if you have those characteristics, you will be perceived that way. And actually, you'll be perceived that way much more than if you were to explicitly say you are that thing, right? If I were to walk up to a girl and be like, hey girl, I'm rich. She'd just be like, you're a clown. Why would you tell me that, right? And honestly, if you are trying to brag about how rich you are, maybe you're not poor, but would Bill Gates walk up to a girl and brag how rich he was? It just doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't indicate the right things. However, if you were to walk into a room full of people and as you walk in, people's attention is drawn to you. And when people are near you and they hear you talking to a crowd of people, your voice is the loudest one in that crowd. And when they see people looking over at you, they see people looking over at you constantly and checking what you're doing, right? If people see all those kind of things, you didn't tell them you're rich or important, but they know, right? They know. For example, why do girls get turned on by DJs at clubs, right? It's because, a few different things, but a big part of it is that everybody else is paying attention to the DJ, right? There's a great sort of idea in game, which is called the idea of B music, which is the DJ puts out music into the world. He puts out music into the club and everybody's reacting to his music, but his music doesn't react to anybody else, right? So he's the prime mover, he has everybody's attention. That's called social proof, right? And that's one of the big reasons why DJs and rock stars and other people that have attention on them are considered so sexually attractive. The fact that they have all this attention is a form of social proof. And that's one of those indicators, one of those indicators for your R.A.S. that someone is important, right? It's one of many. Another big indicator that the DJ has going for him is that he's not trying with any specific girl, right? He's not playing the music and pointing to this one girl and be like, that's for you, girl, right? He's just playing it and he doesn't seem to care. The girls all seem to care about him. He doesn't care much about the girls. He's just doing his thing. That's another indicator for R.A.S. The fact that you don't care that much about the response, right? Because if you care a lot about the response, it indicates you have a scarcity of good responses. If If you don't seem to care about a good response, it means you have lots of good responses, right? If you walk up to someone and you want to make a new friend, if you don't seem to care that, like, not being a dick, but if you're not super attached to becoming friends with this one person, it indicates that you probably have other friends, you're not desperate. If you are super attached, the girl or the new person you want to be friends with is thinking, why is this guy so into this? Why does he care so much, right? And that indicates a lack of good genetics, a lack of good social alliances, that kind of stuff, okay?